Welcome back to coverage of YCS London 2019. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for stopping by. I can't wait to get some more Yu-Gi-Oh started. So I'll be introducing the first duelist of round number 2. From UK, Tom Sharp. So how does it feel being the second Tom we'll be having on the feature, buddy? How are you feeling?
I'm really nervous, because obviously my first feature match, and I know the caliber of my opponent, so...
We'll be having him on in a second, so we'll be getting some good Yu-Gi-Oh on the way. So take a seat, enjoy yourself, relax a bit. And then the second duelist all the way from Italy, Mirko Zanelli. Thank you for stopping by. Like, how are you feeling? What was the trip like? And what was it like being the previous champion of the YCS last year, playing strikers, and coming back to see if you could probably reclaim the prize?
I'm super happy to I'm back to London. I have got a very beautiful moment, so I'm super happy to play again here. And yeah, so I want to play and so I'm super happy.
Well, okay. Well, we hope you have a lot of fun. Hope you enjoy yourself. Take a seat, man. Now, we don't want to keep you guys waiting. I hope you guys are ready. We'll be sending it back to the casters.
Welcome back to the coverage. So it's us again. And we have a very good match for you guys. As you were saying, Mirko, the current YCS London champion, at least until tomorrow. We couldn't feature him round 1 because his opponent didn't show up. So we, of course, wanted to show you guys him today. We actually had a really interesting interview with Mirko. It will be shown on stream where I talked to him. I know him well, of course. He's also Italian, so you gotta know him. And he had a really good performance last year, I think, right?
Yeah, I remember the finals. He was playing against Ping Xiao, against Trickstars, also quite unexpected, but it's very vague in my memory, but it was a good finals back then. So it's, again, a high caliber player here in the feature match, so it should be, and also the matchups, Salamangreat versus Thunder, so
it should be a very good one. It's now decks that were in the deck breakdown, so not as rogue as round 1, but still an open matchup, especially with the new Forbidden list and the new set. I feel like both of these guys adopted their strategy. Mirko especially is using the Masquerena, so the new Lake Monster. It's a really cool one. It allows you to, kind of like Formula Synchro back in the day, to link someone during your opponent's turn, which it's just very cool effect overall. And what do you think of Tom deck instead?
Yeah, the Salamangreats. I mean, it's running 7 traps, so it's a little bit in between. We've seen Salamangreat lists running less traps. Some Salamangreats prefer more traps, like the Solemn Brigade, Crackdown as well. The triple mind control might be interesting. He's also running the Fusion of Fire at 1 in the main deck.
And yeah, something that you actually mentioned is not maining Nibiru, which is something that we have not seen too much. Both of these guys are actually not using it, but siding it instead. We'll see if that decision will work, but I guess in an event that's so wide with the many rogue decks, maybe it can be the deciding factor. Anyway, our players are ready, so let's just go to the table and see who's gonna take this down. Okay, so we're gonna take a look at the ends. The die roll, maybe not as important as in other matchups, but the Sanctum, you can see, is one of the touches in Mirko's deck, and
like Mirko has a fantastic opening with Allure of Darkness, Dragon Roar, Sanctum. If he's going, he's not going first. Okay.
But actually, both have really good ends. I saw both Silent Mining and the one copy of Circo, Red Mine. That's limited. Ooh, the Buffalo. That's great. That's both of these guys, incredible openings. So
yeah, very strong opening hands. The Roar already in the opening hand, so he doesn't need to send it to the graveyard or whatever to search it. He does go for the Spinny, so he can immediately discard it from the Buffalo.
Possibly, and he goes instead for Gazelle, which isn't super obvious, I would say, if he goes for the line, because it means the Buffalo at the moment will not have a target for it.
Exactly.
At the same time, you do not know your opponent decks at this point, and that will be a big issue, because Salamangreat in particular, I feel like it's a deck that really has a lot of options. Like you can open with an Abyss Dweller or traps, and it changes dramatically depending on the matchup.
Yeah, we're seeing here in the extra deck is also running Bakushka. And that's I haven't seen it too much in Salamangreat lists here in this new format, in the TCG format. So he does go for
And-
the failings.
yeah.
Search.
I heard a lot of players actually, even in different decks, considering Baguska for this event. After the, of course, forbidding, let's say, of the Nightmare Mermaid,
Yeah.
I heard they got a lot better, and it makes sense because now you can rely on Mermaid, and Baguska, of course, works on anything that's not a Link monster. So
Of course, yeah, it needs to be put to defense position.
and now again, a really impressive opening. We saw a lot of this in the past months, to be honest.
Pretty
so-
standard. It's a strong opening, standard opening. He still has the follow-up play with the potential will of the Salamangreat in his hand.
Yeah, something that after the limitation of both Gazelle and Circle kind of became a staple. Will, back in the day, was kind of a like one-off, even shaky. We saw a lot of deck lists not even using it, but now everyone is using 3 just because you do need it. Like it's an extender and even a starter sometimes, so...
Yeah, we see that Thomas is running only 1 will.
Yep.
Only 1 will in the main deck.
So standard opening, but he will. I guess when you don't know the matchup, the traps are probably the best thing to do. And unfortunately, we will not see the new Salamangreat monster because in Chaos Impact it was released, or the new Link 4 that kind of has a Raigeki effect, which is really cool. But maybe the 2 extra deck spaces are not worth for Tom.
Yeah, the Pyro Phoenix.
Yeah.
Was hyped for the card when it was like released. Oh, Link 4 for Salamangreats seems very strong, but the extra deck is just too tight for Salamangreats to put it at 1 or even maybe 2 to get full effect.
But definitely a card that we should keep our eyes on in the future. It's really good if unexpected, especially in combination with like a Red Rebuke or stuff like that. It can really hurt.
And it's also not that hard to make, even though it's like a Link 4.
Yeah.
It only needs, I think, 2 monsters, but it could be your Link 3 and your, well, any monster, I guess.
Even the Leo, for example, you can just rank into it, let's say. The Impermanence unfortunately picked up now.
Right.
You really wanted to draw that first.
Yeah.
But the end is really good, as you were saying. He's not negating the Allure.
Would you have negated Allure here in this case?
I definitely would have taken more time. It seems like Tom immediately says that's fine, but Allure Darkness, amazing if you don't banish a Thunder. When you do, it's like a part of Greed, essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
So I feel like he could have taken more time to consider that, because now, where are you gonna use the Roar? Maybe to negate a Thunder activation.
Hawk maybe seems the best one, the better one. It's already Matrix Super Polymerization as well already. He's running, I believe, 2 in the main deck.
Yeah, he's running a lot of interesting choices. Usually you see Thunder Dragon banning just all of the Thunder monsters and traps, and that's it. But as you can see, Polymerization gonna come down for completely disrupting Thomas' field. Usually you see Violet Chimera. In this time, it is a Chimera, but it's the Plexer, so...
And this is a huge blow, since now I think Thomas has both Rage and Roar set, so no Link.
Which really makes you wonder if he should have just used it on the Allure of Darkness.
Yeah.
Very
again,
unfortunate decision.
Maybe he was like, well, we see again the hands. We see that he has like double Roar in his hand, and are like, well, he definitely should negate Allure because of, well, we know he has Roar in the hand, Dragon Roar. But yeah, anyway.
And here is the Chimera. The effect is, as you can see, nothing too special, but using 2 Cybers. Mirko probably decided to use this because you nowadays can play not only against Salamangreat, there are a few decks that combo off using Cybers monsters, so it's slightly more generic, I guess. And it's gonna be tough, so he does use the Gazelle to just get back the circle, I would say.
Yeah.
But you don't have much, because now the Roar is completely useless, and the Rage is...
Only 1 card.
Yeah, it's kind of underwhelming. At the same time, the Artifact Sanctum, such an amazing card. I am in love with it, especially in this room, because back in 2014 I won with Artifact Sanctum, so like my memories are all coming up.
Shadows?
Yes, with Shadows.
Yeah.
And you should know, guys. You
Yeah.
you had my deck
Yeah,
profile
we
for
had the
the
profile
event.
outside.
Yeah,
I remember.
exactly. It was a very good memory of mine. And now we see Sanctum still, after like 5 years, being one of the best cards in the game.
Well, yeah. Indirectly, it's like a very strong floodgate, very flexible.
Yeah.
And if your opponent wants to destroy it without knowing it, it'd be like a Sanctum with Twin
You
Twister
can get
or whatever.
punished. Yeah.
Yeah, you're getting punished for that.
So now, yeah, there is. I am not really sure what to do if you're in Tom's spot. You probably just wait, but at the same time, you can't wait too much because Colossus, is immune. So I think he's just gonna use it here and pray that that's gonna stop Mirko.
So this is normal summon?
Unfortunately, yeah, that's not gonna happen. Mirko, an incredible opening. I really wish. And that's something, if any of you guys wants like a suggestion on how to prepare for events, when you're testing with your friends, sometimes go back to the situation. Like, for example, this happened, okay, this game is developing, but if you really want to know what the best decision is, go back and keep playing the same game with the different of like, if I negated the allure, what would have happened? It's something that I feel like it's very important to new players. So now, looking incredible for Mirko. He has the Sanctum and Impermanence to just completely stun Tom next turn. At least he keeps the Stalio.
Yeah, the Stalio is still on the field, so
it will survive.
He could search something next turn, but still, yeah, he will be on their sight.
Yeah, the sight is gonna be such a blowout here. Especially because Mirko is such an experienced player that I don't think he is going to allow Tom to go for a Bale Links. Because if he does, then you can negate it with the counter chop.
Exactly.
No way that's going to happen, let's be honest.
And also something that Thomas mentioned and we've talked about in the earlier rounds is that Thomas is quite, at least quite impressed for his opponent. Like, a big player, big name, feature match first time. And that's definitely something that's, how do you say it? It's influences his plays and his choices.
Oh, he does a lot. Like I can't tell you how many times I have had like opponents play against me and just maybe getting, I don't know, emotional, like too ahead of himself. Where if they would have played against their friends, they would have just destroyed them. And
there's a Sanctum, of course.
Yeah, no surprise there. And going back to what we were saying, it is also one of the main things that you should keep in mind when playing. Everyone is the same at the table. Like when you're outside of the table, sure, you can have your idols, let's say, but when you sit down one-on-one, like it's Yu-Gi-Oh! Like you can take down anyone. So
yeah, I remember in my earlier years when I was like playing with friends and friends at their home, like one of my well, it's not really like a second father, I can say, the father of one of my best friends back then. He said like, why are you looking up to these players? I mean in a good way. They have access to the same card pool, are playing with the same cards. It's all the same. So okay, you as you said, you can have your idols, but it's still a player and they have the same card pool.
All humans. So
yeah, indeed.
We all misplay. We all do our little bit of negative things.
So how should Thomas end here? So he can't use his extra deck?
Yeah, it's an interesting line of plays. Okay, just passed, which it's kind of surprising to me. I feel like he could have extended his plays a little more, especially this Stalio. But
all right, he didn't use Stalio. Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't you just bring out another monster? Because, for example, he doesn't have access to Foxy at the moment.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, I wouldn't hate. Also, something cool that he could have done was, for example, get the foul, tribute the Falco for the foul to stun the back row, so you get the rage back.
Right.
I think he had quite a few plays. I really don't understand why he just passed. But again, maybe it's a situation that he didn't test much. When you're staring down a site, usually you just pass, but in this case, he could have done a lot more.
Yeah, thinking forward a bit more.
Yeah. So another Colossus is going to come down, and it's possible that Mirko has enough to win the game on the spot, because I'm not even sure there is another Bale Links in Tom Graveyard.
I think only there was one, I think, but it's
Yeah,
already banished. So
We're gonna check. It's possible there is, but even if there is, you can possibly like search for the Dragon Duo, which is other like easy damage.
right.
It gets ugly real quick when you allow Thunder Dragon to just do whatever they want. So
We could see a Titan follow-up
Yeah.
as well.
And this is exactly what I was worrying. There is a Bale Links, I believe, still in his graveyard, but when you use the Thunder Dragon, you're just gonna start destroying everything. So there is so much you can save.
Yeah, it's not once per turn.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Okay, so he gets the Dark from the banished, and now he will start using the Titan without a possibility for his opponent. Something cool to mention, since we have seen Paleozoic in the last round, is that Titan basically works the same, in the way that if you interact with the Thunder monster, he has to chain directly to it, but right now there is no card that Tom can use, so...
Yeah, exactly. That's like one of the... Even though Titan is a very strong card, it's not once per turn, it can use its effect multiple times.
It has its weakness.
It has its weakness. Yeah.
And Tom has seen enough. He picks up his cards, still a lot of time on the clock, but Mirko wins game 1. A big deal, really. Especially after losing the die roll to such a strong opening from Tom.
Yeah, we have seen again the allure getting the 2 extra draws and at the same time banish Roar to get another special summon. That was a very strong opening.
Yeah, you still gotta think what would have happened if he would have negated it, really.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that was the turning point, because Mirko at that time didn't have the super polymerization that really won him the game, I gotta say.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, that's in the past. Now we should focus on what's coming up. Looking at the side decks, so what can happen? For Mirko, I do see one of the new promos. It's not Nibiru, but it's Dimensional Shifter.
Right.
Amazing in Thunder, because it basically turns Battery Mansolar into a gold sarcophagus, and it shuts down Salamangreat almost entirely, I think.
Yeah, it's quite of an underrated card. I mean, from the 3 Gold Sark promos next to Nibiru and Dark Ruler No More, Dimensional Shifter is always like, it's the lesser of the 3, although if you open with it first turn, it might seal the deal already. It's a very dangerous card.
Definitely, kind of a high risk, high reward kind of card, because you can't have cards in the graveyard, so it's like very tough to resolve. But with Mirko siding triple Nibiru and triple Shifter, it's looking very good in this game too, I would say. Because Tom on his end doesn't really have much to side, I would say, going first at least.
Yeah, especially going first. We see the Nibiru. He's also side taking 3 Dark Ruler No More.
Yeah, but do you think there is a small chance that he allows Mirko to go first and just sides Nibiru and Dark Ruler?
Yeah.
Maybe Lancia as well and evenly. I mean, it looks like all of these cards are just for going second, that's why.
Exactly.
I don't think that's gonna happen, but it could be a really blowout decision from him. And it's something that I really like to do after siding, like taking your opponent off guards so that they side in useless cards, you know?
Right.
It's interesting. So
Mirko is looking really confident. I can imagine that he's, well, especially because he won last year, he's like super prepared.
Absolutely. And also something that you guys can't see is that there is a small delay between the main event and the Future Match stage. And once people are done, they all come to watch, and now there is a huge crowd watching. So it gotta build up the tension if you're playing there. So let's take a look at these ends.
So who's going first? That's the first thing.
That's the main thing.
Yeah. We see an all-monster hand for Salamangreat.
Hopefully Tom, because the Buffalo, it isn't the best hand, but maybe the Buffalo can take it. He does have an Ash Blossom, but the rest of the hand doesn't look that good.
We already see a Nibiru for Mirko, so that could be like a big blowout if Thomas plays into it.
I feel like when the promos were first announced, everyone was freaking out, but especially because like the Guard Dragons decks were popular, and the first thought was, okay, those are 4 dead decks. But Nibiru is actually amazing against Salamangreat. It is one of the main reasons when like some friends came up to me and asked me, should I play Salamangreat in London? And I was like, sure, the deck seems good, but how do you beat Nibiru?
Right.
And I don't think you have a real answer to that question. Like, the wheel helps, but I think now we're gonna see how good Nibiru is against Salamangreat, and it's really tough for Tom if that happens. Ooh, and he drew. Wow. He opens triple spin.
Yeah,
That's
3 spinny.
so unfortunate. I don't think he's even able to do anything here. I think he might just pass holding the open to that Ash Blossom.
Yeah, could maybe go for another Failings, I guess.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate. You gotta feel bad for him. Opening like double spin is usually even not that great. Opening 3, wow.
I think he does have an Ash Blossom, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
at least he has the Ash Blossom.
Okay.
But maybe he can make, I was thinking maybe you can make the Ita, just because he can search Gazelle. But I guess he's just gonna rely on, I hope he doesn't get OTK'd, because here, the huge thing is that Mirko doesn't even have to use the Nibiru, and that means that if Tom is able to just use Gazelle, then the Nibiru is still there. Very tough game.
So we see double Roar, the one of Thunder Dragon, and Cold Sark already in the first opening hand. So and you see that your opponent doesn't have any back row. That feels like he's...
Yeah, you gotta feel good. Of course, you know that Entrops are a possibility, and you do know that Nibiru might be in your opponent's hand. But you gotta go for it. Honestly, this hand is also not the best though. If you think about it, whatever is gonna get banished by this Gold Sarcophagus, if Tom negates it with Ash Blossom, that's it. Mirko got a pass.
Yeah, exactly.
So it might be a weird game where Tom, even though he opens terrible, can win just like the old-fashioned way with monsters that don't do much. So, and here it's a very smart choice from Mirko. I think this is very heads up. He knows that he loses to Ash Blossom, so he banishes the least impactful one.
Right. Yeah, fantastic. And now you see Thomas's face. He's really thinking, why is he banishing Matrix?
And it's like, is he banishing Matrix because he has access to everything? I think he let it through. This is very smart from Mirko. Incredible play from Mirko. This is very heads up. Everyone would have banished the Dark or Roar. I can bet on it. But this can change the game on the spot. This is like telling your opponent, I already got everything. Let's just banish a Matrix, why not?
Yeah.
Great play, I'm really impressed here.
Yeah, he can go for the double fusion summon because of the Salamangreat Link 2. Sunlight Wolf, he has Roar in hand, so he does Ash Blossom the Thunder Dragon, okay.
Yeah, but this, it's completely different game now. He can make the Titan, resolve the Roar, like it's completely different game. It's really heads up decision. I really impressed. We saw like Mirko back in YCS Ghent where he picked up Luna Light without having too much experience and he was kind of shaky. So if people might have rightfully started to doubt him, but here is the demonstration that he's still one of the best players in Europe by far. So nice. We could also see the new Masquerena.
How do you feel about the card? It's again a very interesting card. It lets you play during your opponent's turn, and it's quite generic. So a lot of decks could incorporate it in their
absolutely. Just the option. It's usually paired with the Nightmare Unicorn.
Yeah. So
that during your opponent's turn you have an interruption. And I feel like, especially in Thunder Dragon, where there are a lot of hands where you can end on triple Colossus, which sounds a little, useless, pointless rather, because 1 or 2 Colossus, sure, but the third one is not doing much. When you can change that for a Unicorn, it's pretty good. So I like the card a lot. Yeah, so now Mirko just playing very fast here. He knows what he's doing at this point, and we'll see. So at the same time, the the cards he has in his hand aren't the best. So if somehow Tom is able to get out of this, maybe there is still a chance, because you really don't want any Nibiru here if you are Mirko, because if you do it, you don't have anything else.
Yeah, if he survives, he has like 3 draws. He has he has draw phase, of course, the Buffalo for the extra 2 draws.
So I'm actually not despising Tom, and because like if he picks up maybe a will or like one of those cards or a mind control, like I don't even think he needs too much. This is still a quite open game, so let's see how.
It's a spell.
Ooh,
so
it's a will, yeah.
It's a will.
The will.
Okay.
It's the will. The one copy of will, probably one of the best draws in Tom N, and I'm pretty sure that now he can do a lot. So, because Mirko doesn't have really any interruptions. If you force the Nibiru, sure, but that's probably what's gonna happen. It's gonna be close. You also have the Buffalo to fish for tumor draws. Yeah.
Buffalo's fine.
These draws are really important. I feel like he doesn't need too much now, but he needs to pick up stuff for when he gets Nibiru'd. So a trap would be really good. Okay, it's Foxy and Circle, which is
more
not,
monsters. Yeah, it's not
and he also not usable because of Colossus, but still not the end of the day. Let's see. He can't use.
He can't use. Yeah,
he can't.
It's fine. It's again that stressy situation.
Of course,
you're at the feature match. You're playing against a big
can't
name.
Blame him. Yeah. It's close. So, because the line I'm seeing is, you probably just hope that your opponent doesn't have anything else. With the will, you can really push through this. If not, even OTK, I was thinking, thanks to the Fusion of Fire. I'm pretty sure Tom would have been able to OTK, but since Nibiru is there, it's gonna be tough.
Right. And the clock is still they are like almost 16 minutes left, so he needs to play fast.
Especially when you are already down 1 game.
Exactly.
Even if you take it to game 3, then there's not too much time. You don't want to draw these early in the tournament. So. Yeah, I mean, there is not too much to say. Is Nibiru going to come down? Yeah. Yeah, that's probably about it. So Nibiru comes down. Do you think that was a little premature?
Maybe a little bit too early. Did he already use up Foxy's graveyard effect?
No, he didn't.
He didn't, right? Spinny, not sure.
Also, yeah, Nibiru is also once per turn, so he can't use the second copy. And I feel like he could have waited slightly more. Maybe that he didn't want Gazelle to be there, so that next turn you can bring it back with Will. But I feel like Tom can still kind of do something, because now the circle is live, and Mirko knew about the circle, you know. So I think this is gonna be huge. Because like now you can use the circle, you can use the Foxy discarding the Jaguar. I feel like now he can still OTK somehow.
Now we see that, or hopefully we are going to see how well Thomas knows his deck.
Yeah, absolutely. Here is the turning point, but like what I'm thinking is, he also has the Ash Blossom that he used last turn, so that's a target possibly for the Eat Leo. Exactly, you just pick this, you discard the Jaguar for the Foxy, then you bring down the Gazelle, and if you send the Fusion of Fire, I think you might have enough for game there. It's gonna come down to the wire, but like, even if you don't OTK here, you're gonna have a lot, so let's see.
You see that Thomas is picking up the pace. He's playing. He knows that he needs to play faster.
I mean, to be fair, it's also possible that he doesn't even have Fusion of Fire anymore, because he was going first, and this matchup is like, it's usually better when your opponent puts some Link monsters on the field. So, but this, really turning completely the tables, I would say. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he doesn't have Fusion of Fire anymore.
Yeah, he was glimpsing at one of the traps.
Yeah. It is what makes the most sense, I would say. Let's see. Does he have it? he does not. So
Yeah.
Fusion of Fire is not an option, unfortunately, because that would have been game on the spot. But now the only card that Mirko has is the Fusion Engrave. I feel like that's one of the most important because you can use it to get the Dragon Duo, then banish like Dark Roar, all of these cards and get a lot of plus. So if you can focus on maybe going for an Abyss Dweller at the end of it, that could really change things up. So if you like push here a lot of damage and then end on like Abyss Dweller, maybe that's gonna be really good. Let's see.
Yeah, he was only playing one Stelio, right? But he already used it.
Really?
I think he already used it.
Oh
the special
yeah,
summon.
he only plays one.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't notice that. That's a big deal. Usually you see two Stalios every time, and I was just completely sure.
Would you play to Stelio
I
in a
think
minute?
so. Like, of course, the extra deck is tied, but where you're not playing the new Salamangreat Master, and I don't think he even playing Super Poly, you know? No, he's not.
No.
Like, you have a lot of space, so I think two Stalio are always needed. Because, like, the utility, let's say, Link Masters or XYZ are surely useful, but you should always give priority to the engine cards.
Right.
And especially with Nibiru, this kind of situation where the Nibiru to Stalio happens a lot. So I'm very surprised that's not...
Yeah, maybe he preferred the Bakushka. The Bakushka in the extra deck over the
Okay,
second copy
possible.
of Stelio.
Here, though, a very weak turn, it would seem. So he gets the Roar, he can attack over the Nibiru by using the second effect of... but I think that's about it. So this seems very underwhelming overall. Definitely a few of, like, not the cleanest play, I would say. But
So yes, 2 negations / interruptions, right? With the Roar set
yeah,
and Ash Blossom in hand, right? Or am I missing something?
yeah, he should have it.
Okay.
So thankfully the Ash Blossom, because he didn't really use it there, so he can negate the fusion. But hopefully that's enough, because you don't know what your opponent is holding, to be fair. Those 2 cards could be relevant, but luckily for him, those are kind of useless at the moment. The best draw is probably something along the line of Allure of Darkness, and after seeing what happened in game 1, please use the Roar on it this time.
Yeah.
So let's see what he picks up. Yeah, just double checking you didn't forget any relevant facts. And let's take a look. This draw is super important. It's Mind Control.
Mind Control, okay.
Interesting one, because it forces the counter, of course. But I think the Ash Blossom is gonna really close this one.
Yeah.
Because of course the counter cannot negate the fusion, because let's remember it only negates spell and trap activation, not effects. But Ash Blossom comes down, huge deal. I don't think he can do anything here. I don't even think you can Mind Control. Like, I think you do it. Yeah, I was about to say, you use Mind Control to try and bait the Nibiru. So maybe that's the way you win this game. If you force it out, now you can play with the Roar, getting the Hawk back and try and stay back into the game. If you have access to it. Does he even have it banished? I don't think he does.
No Hawk.
But you can do the Matrix into Colossus, which is fair enough. So still in the game. I think you have to take back the Matrix, right?
Yeah, of course.
So you go for Matrix and then Colossus, which I think is a good play because it smells weakness. And I think it's enough weakness for your opponent to not think about the second Nibiru.
Right.
Which can be a huge, probably the nail in the coffin, really. And, ooh, he sets it, though.
Setting the Matrix, okay.
That's interesting.
Maybe telegraphing that he needs the extra defense, but he's still sitting at 6k. So.
I mean, if he has the third, I think he does, right? Yeah, he has the third Matrix in the deck. I think this is also one more mind game from Mirko. If he didn't have another Matrix, it didn't make sense, but since after resolving Nibiru, we can still search the Matrix, this doesn't change much, but it smells even more weakness for your opponent. Also, the token is huge. because it rebooted over the Stalio and another. I think it's way over 3,000. So, ooh, but the Dark Ruler no more. Nice.
So finally getting back that one of Mirage Stelio.
Yeah.
So this could potentially be game though.
If he plays around that, yeah. Because the Dark Ruler no more is a huge deal. If that wasn't there, it was tough to attack over, but now I think he's getting very close to the Nibiru range.
Yeah.
Because like he summoned the Jaguar, I think this is enough, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, isn't it?
Jaguar.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 5, I think.
That's
yeah,
5
indeed.
already.
Yeah.
So this is too late. This is gonna be a great game, really.
Yes.
Maybe it can come down to life points after all. Double checking the life points.
Yeah.
He still has the Dark Ruler, which shuts down the Colossus protection effect at this point. But if we didn't, yeah,
He's going for it, of course.
Okay. What is he gonna go for?
Still only 7 minutes left, so he needs to.
Yeah, that's what I'm worrying
needs
about.
to hurry up, yeah.
Because he's down in life points, and I think, I think the judge is unfortunately gonna force him to go for the link free. Yeah. Especially when you are on a future match stage, you really have to be careful with this kind of situations. Once you send the materials to the grave, you're forced to commit to the play.
Right.
And the Code Talker, okay. Now let's see. This is the combo that really with the transcode was popularized by Gabriel Soucy at this European Championship.
Yeah.
He won really convincingly, I gotta say. It was quite impressive, but now Mirko is doing what basically he didn't do last turn, which is really slow rolling this Nibiru, and he knows that he needs to do that because
he's looking really comfortable.
Yeah,
His face.
I think he's gonna do it quite soon.
Going for the 3.
And you can really see how good, as we were saying, Nibiru is against this matchup. It's not just against combo decks. Salamangreat, no matter what they open, always go to 5 summons, and even if you draw in mid game, just like here, they're gonna be even more explosive.
Would that be one of the things you would rather not want to play Salamangreat at the YCS?
I think so. I think it is because, as you were saying, out of the 3 promos, Nibiru is by far, the most popular one. So you need to play a deck that doesn't really lose to the. That's why, for example, in the chart, I think we saw a lot of True Dracos, because they can use cards like the new promos without being really damaged by them.
Right.
Yeah, just trying his best, but he's buying his bluff. This is amazing from Mirko. Really.
Yeah, especially after we saw the opening hand, we were like, ooh, this is not looking too good.
Yeah.
Thomas has the Edge Blossom on the potential Roar or Dark being banished from Goldsark.
And you can see, this basically reminds me of the old days Torrential Tribute, kind of.
All right. Yeah.
But here, the Dark Ruler no more is... can you chain to it with Nibiru? That's the thing. How does it... Or was it only on the field? Let me check. Because you cannot chain to that, I
that's correct,
remember.
the monster effects,
But then negative effect will face up monster your opponent currently controls... yeah, no, that's only it. So you can still Nibiru.
Of course,
And he does Nibiru, and this is a huge thing. So... Yeah, he loses all of his board.
Everything.
Wow.
It's huge.
Such a strong card, like...
Getting Nibiru twice in the feature match.
That's rough.
That's really rough. Yeah.
Honestly. Like you get Nibiru once, you play and kind of keep your cool, and go through that, but then the second Nibiru, as the last card in hand even, from your opponent comes down, that's terrible. Even though at the same time now, I think the minutes are what's gonna matter, because Mirko doesn't have much. Like, he's really gonna rely on his top deck, because Matrix alone doesn't do anything.
Right.
But time is really short, so now they really need to hurry up. So, yeah.
Just
Checking the life points, it should be 6-4, let's say. I don't know, they're probably checking how much attack does the token have, because there were a lot of monsters on board, so it gotta be a little confusing.
Didn't see what he drew.
Ooh, that's a huge one. Huge draw from Mirko. Aloof Lupine.
Yeah, that's
that's gonna seal the game.
Yeah.
Incredible top deck here, and
He's making how many copies of Aloof Lupin? 3. Okay.
3. Yeah, he's maining all of the normal summons you can play, both the Batterymans and the Aloof, and he gets rewarded for it.
Right.
Honestly, I would have liked to see a game 3 in this match. I feel like we were really close, but you gotta give credit to Mirko. Like, he just slow rolled that Nibiru, and at this point, it's just a matter of math, I guess.
So what are the options here? What could he banish off of the Aloof?
It depends on the targets, because he used a lot of his extra deck. So you can see 2 Colossus are already gone. For example, if you banish the Roar to get the Dark, then maybe go into the Masquerena as well.
Right.
You can get to the Fusion, so a lot of different options. It really depends on how big the token is, which we don't know, really.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna pretend I remember how big the token is. So, but it seems like it was big enough. But even though there were a lot of links, so the defense of those counts as 0. So maybe it is not that big.
Time is stopped, or not really sure why?
Yeah, they're probably just checking how much time, because of course you don't wanna hurry up.
Right.
Maybe what they're just considering might be a slow play warning, which is nothing major, but
Well, so it could be important later in the tournament.
yeah,
That's the thing.
That's why I think they are debating if it's needed, but yeah, I think that's what happened. But
I think Mirko was playing at a decent pace.
yeah, and to be fair, even though when you look at like without seeing the cards, you might think he doesn't have any card in hand. You still have a lot of options there,
Right.
because you can go for the Dark, for the Roar, then a lot of different lines. So yeah,
there it is.
Masquerena comes down
There it is.
finally, even though for like a different purpose this time.
Yeah.
But really cool card for the new set. One of my favorites, I would say, from the new set.
Yeah, definitely.
And okay, he goes for the Unicorn. He just attacks. That seems a little odd, doesn't it? Probably just to push damage, because they are very close to time, I would say. But maybe there is an option here for Thomas if he speeds up. We have seen him multiple times. That's not a good start, though. Setting a card. Doesn't he have a lot, though? Yeah, he's taking way too much time. Like, you just have to play super fast. We've seen this multiple times, and he shakes his hand.
Yeah, we've seen it in the last YCS. With
with a lot of difference, even Quincy against Joshua. But yeah, let's go back to us real quick. What a match!
It's
so
just getting, as we've mentioned, double Nibiru in a feature match. It just feels so
yeah.
It's why me?
To be honest, I mean, as you were saying, Tom, even though he's from the UK, so he has the home advantage, he's up against one of the best players in Europe, the current YCS London winner, so it gotta be tough, on stage especially. And in game 1, even though he had an incredible opening, as we mentioned multiple times, that Roar on the Allure not being used, maybe a little shaky, but
yeah, that's the thing. Again, we are seeing the opening hand, so we know he has Roar, and we are like, man, you should definitely Ash Blossom, or you should definitely roar that and negate that. But
he decides not to, and to be fair, against the standard Thunderjagger, maybe that wouldn't matter. They don't all main super polymerization, so that worked. And to be fair, Mirko played fantastic throughout the match. Really good. He recognized when he was behind, when he was winning, and when he had like the possibility to push for damage. When he played very well. And overall in game 2, instead, as you were saying, it was kind of more back and forth. Nibiru being the MVP for sure. But this last turn, I'm kind of concerned because so you had the spinny, right?
And the Foxy as
and
well,
the
I think.
Foxy, like if you just discard the spinny, get back the Foxy, then the spinny, you can start playing. And if there was a minute left,
the Stelia was already gone, I think, right?
Yeah,
So,
but if you just Jaguar it back,
right.
because the Jaguar was there, the Falco was there, like everything was in the graveyard. I'm really like confused to why he didn't try harder there.
Maybe he thought there was like less than a minute, and he was like, "Nah,
Yeah.
I'm not going to."
But I mean,
not
it's all
possible.
or nothing. So, as you were saying, I remember one of the most iconic for me is at the European Championship of this year, Joshua Smith against Quincy, Jake. That was crazy. And like there, it was literally a matter of seconds. So. With a minute, after what we have seen like Jake could do, you can literally probably drink a coffee as well, I guess. But yeah, overall, thanks again, guys, for tuning in and watching. This was round 2. We still have a lot more, but let's go back to JJ with the interview with Mirko.
Thank you, Marcello. Well, I'm here joined with Mirko, just coming off your win just now. It was a very stunning victory. You played it out. You know, you had the Nibirios at the clutch moments when you needed to clear the board to keep you from losing the match. How did you feel about that game?
This match was really intensive because the second game we made like double Nibiru. So, and in the first, maybe the first Nibiru, I made a mistake. Probably we needed to waiting my opponent, but I feel like maybe he didn't have a lot of Salamangreat card because he made 2 turns for pass. But yeah, the second Nibiru helped me a lot because he cleared the board. But yeah, I'm happy. I got a warning for the play. Honestly, I felt like a lot of situation possible. So yeah, I got a warning for play, but I felt like I can make like in Giro for search with duo. I could like to search like this fusion for this card for unicorn. So I have a lot of opportunity for play, so I fought like 30 seconds, but the judge chose to go to boarding, but it's a choice for the judge, and I can understand your opinion, but I want to play how I feel. I think it was.
Okay, fair enough. So then, you know, it's really dependent, like having you being a previous YCS winner, world's competitor, and you know, achieving a whole lot of tops and stuff. So there's often times where you're trapped in your little bubble in your mind where 30 seconds for you could be like a minute for somebody else. So it's based on perspective, yeah. So like it seems that you had a whole lot of fun. I hope the opponent had a lot of fun playing against you. But that's enough for us for now. There'll be more coverage after this.